guys? Welcome back to Strong Successful Male. So for today in the Ask SSM video series, got an email from a subscriber. This guy's 29 years old, and he's writing in asking both me as well as you guys if with regards to a gal he's been seriously dating for the last 7 months, should he cut her loose after some very big red flags have come up, or is maybe he's overreacting and he should give her another chance, see how things go, that type of thing. And I'm going to go over here, guys, to really emphasize how if you are dating a gal, it's a couple weeks, couple months, even longer than that, and you start to see red flags that you all are aware of that are red flags, and your gut's telling you that something's not right, listen to your gut, do some investigating, and at that point things don't look good, it's best to part ways. Hopefully parting ways amicably so there's no drama brought into your life, because if you don't, things are only going to get worse. Life is short, you don't need that kind of drama. And for a lot of guys, when they start spotting red flags, because they really like the girl, or because she's great in the sack, or she's got a great body, those type of things, guys tend to let things slide, and down the road they regret it immensely because, they learn that there's those red flags, where there's smoke, there's definitely fire. So I'm going to go through his story here. It's a little longer than the usual questions, and then you all, as well as I, can share what you think. So he says, hello SSM. Let me start by saying that I have been on all your channels for about 3 to 4 months now, and I love the content that you put out. It really helps us guys understand the ways of women and what to watch out for. My story isn't something super crazy, but I do need advice as to this is a deal breaker or not. I understand this may not make it to a video and may not receive a quick response, but I would love some advice from someone with knowledge that you have. Well, amigo, today's your lucky day. He says, so let me start with a little background on me and a girl I've been seriously dating close to a relationship. We've been dating now for about 7 months, and I made it clear to her that I have 6 month to a year rule before I actually take that step and make her my girlfriend, and she agreed with that and was okay with that. Good for you, man. You made it clear from the beginning a boundary of yours, an important thing. And you said, yeah, I'm not getting serious. We're really going to get to know each other. That's what I want you guys to do. And either she's going to be okay with that or she's not. And if she's not okay with it, guys, tells you everything you need to know. So he did very good here. And seemingly she seemed okay because she went along with that. Once we hit 6 months, a small misunderstanding happened between us that I will not go into detail about because it is irrelevant and will drag out this story. Well, maybe you should have told us about this because this is, in my opinion, important. Sometimes it's the small things that seem irrelevant that are actually a big red flag. But when that situation happened, since it was around the 6 month mark, I made it clear to her that I wanted to wait closer to 1 year before I think about making it official, and she understood and agreed. Well, that doesn't sound so irrelevant to me, man, but okay. Now some insight on both of us prior to us dating. I'm 29, and I haven't seriously dated anyone for the last 6 to 7 years, as my last relationship ended terribly, and I did not want any parts of the relationship up until I met this girl that made me consider it once again. She's 25 years old, who just recently got out of a 5-year relationship. They were married for about 2. 5 years, huh? And she was married for 2 years of that? Just got out of it? How just got out of it is she? Because you could be the rebound guy, the rebound relationship. She said the relationship was controlling and just an overall bad relationship, at least for the last couple of years of it, so pretty much blames him for most of it. Well, it's possible this guy was a real douchebag and he was really controlling and abusive and all that type of thing, but it seems more and more, as many of you guys have probably experienced or heard from stories I shared, that every guy's labeled controlling or all these other things, so, and it's always his fault. They never had anything to do with it. No blame on them because the relationship went to hell in a handbasket. Now she's the type to take accountability, at least from my standpoint, and I do understand there are two sides to every story. So I never fully believe she played no part in the negativity of the relationship. That's a red flag to me, man. Her saying, well, he was controlling and it's all his fault, that's a red flag. The girl's family I have none. Okay, he wrote this wrong. He knows her family. That's just the gist of his messed up sentence here. Her cousins are some of my closest friends that I grew up with, but her particularly I never knew due to the slight age difference, and she was homeschooled and kept in the house until she was 18 pretty much. Homeschooled, huh? Well, there's pros and cons to that. Given the state of the educational system here in the USA, homeschool is not a bad idea in terms of a lot of bullshit they teach in the schools as opposed to important things that are needed. And let's be honest, being around a lot of American teenagers can really rub a kid the wrong way if they don't have good parenting. So that's actually not a bad thing nowadays. On the other hand, a lot of homeschool kids become these freaking weirdos. I've encountered a few in college, and they were nice, but they were really socially off. So flip a coin on that one. Doesn't mean they're all that way, but you get my point. And also, there's a little more insight about myself. I would consider myself a very, very R-pilled and pretty alpha in the most part. I never knew I was an alpha until I started doing research and figured out my characteristics. My whole life had been alpha. I've been exposed to R-pill content for about the past 4 years, so I would definitely consider myself more of an R-pill guy. Now that you have some insight on both of us, maybe it will help better you understand the situation I'm about to tell you. Well, from the get-go, you made it clear, look, I'm not getting any serious relationships for at least 6 months to a year. That does set you aside, way ahead of most guys. And that's some R-pilling coming out of there in varying degrees. The term R-pill definitely has a range, I'm noticing, and people have different opinions on it. But nevertheless, in terms of the alpha thing, well, you did what you wanted to do. And I guess that could definitely certainly say alpha. Because most guys do not do what they want to do. And usually it's the beta guys that let the girl dictate the terms of the relationship, but you did. So good. So just the other day, me and the girl were texting back and forth all day, responding back and forth within a timely manner as usual. Then all of a sudden, around 7 p.m., she just ghosted me for about 2.5 hours. Well, if you're texting back and forth all day, which, by the way, why are you wasting your time texting back and forth all day? Don't you have hit the gym, a job, hang out with your bros? I mean, tell me you're not just sitting there watching Netflix and you're just texting back and forth all day. That shows her you're easily available. That shows her you're really into her. We don't want to get too carried away with that. And if she disappeared for 2.5 hours, well, sometimes girls get bored. Or something else could be going on. So you flip a coin. After about the first hour of her ghosting, my gut was telling me something was not right. But I try not to think too deep as I was in the gym and finished up my workout. Okay, good. All right. You did your set in the bench press, then you responded to her text, then you were over to doing some shoulder presses afterwards, then you responded to her text. So at least you're doing something constructive. So fast forward to about 11 p.m. at that night, and we meet up because she's left some things in my car, and I was giving back to her. She gets in my car, and we talk for a second. I ask her how her day went. She says a few things, and then proceeds to tell me that she went over to her ex-husband's house. He lives with his family, so she claims, and at least the mom and dad were there. I don't know about siblings. She was telling me the whole story about what happened over there and what they talked about. Hold on here. Is this the same ex-husband who she was married to for 2 years, but was together with for a total of 5, who's controlling and bad things, and she's just going over there to hang out? Yeah, colossal red flag. We're talking about a giant banner hanging down a freaking building. Red flag. I've known divorced men and I've known divorced women in my life, and the last person they want to go hang out with is their ex. They usually do that if, they're exchanging the kids, or they have to talk about the kids' school or whatever. Not just to go hang out. So sounds to me she's a little hung up on that guy. And supposedly his parents were there. 2.5 hours, radio silence. At least that's what she told me. I have no way to confirm what really happened, blah, blah, blah. So here's the problem. I was getting mad on the inside because I was like, why didn't she just mention to me she was going over there? She didn't tell you because she knew you would not be very happy about that. I truly wouldn't have been mad, not one bit. Really? I don't think you'd be happy about it. But the fact you could just mention it when you mention every other thing else you're going to do didn't sit right with me. So I asked her, why didn't you tell me you were going? This is where I got really angry. Her response exactly was, I thought you'd get mad, so I didn't tell you. Oh, okay. In other words, I know you're going to get mad. So it's easier to, what's the saying? It's easier to beg forgiveness than ask permission, so that's what she's doing. And she was basically going to just tell me that after the fact and just argue with me about it. That's what really ticked me off, is the fact that she thought I'd be mad and something, but did it anyway. Then there's a couple other things that had me furious. Well, there you go, man. So she's obviously carrying a torch for her ex, or she's still communicating with him. And you said that you're obviously her first relationship after they got divorced. You're the rebound guy. And you said that she labeled him as controlling and other things like that. And sometimes those guys, they actually still are attached to who knows. This doesn't sit well with me. So I went to our text leading up until and put the timelines together and realized that she purposely stopped messaging right before she went over and did not message me back one time until she left. Yeah, in that 2.5 hour window. And she did admit that she basically ignored me during the whole time. And the last thing that pissed me off is that her ex-husband asked her basically how her dating life is going, and she replied to him that she just had been on a couple of dates, pretty much implying to him that she's not dating anyone seriously when she's in fact dating someone very seriously. Well, again, this is what she's saying he said, that he says she said, or she said he said bullshit. Regardless, sounds like she still is, the door's open for him. Her reasoning for telling him that it was her anger, that he has anger problems and how she was afraid he would react. Which I do understand that, but I told her that's BS, and that's not the only reason. That she still cares about him and wanted to leave doors cracked just in case to save face to him is how I felt. Now she's admitted that she was wrong, and she's been saying she's going to try to make things better, and I've noticed little things she's trying to do. She hasn't displayed signs to me in these 7 months of her being a cheater, liar, or bad girl, but this doesn't sit right with me. If your gut's telling you there's a problem, there's a problem. But I want to mention something. You said you're seriously dating, but she's not your girlfriend. So, if she's not your girlfriend, she's not exclusive, and you're just dating, one could make the argument, and I guarantee you she would, she should be able to go see other guys. Unless, so that's kind of a questionable area, I gotta admit. And yeah, she does get a little point because she did tell me about it. She could never have told me, and I never would have known. But it still doesn't make it right. What I told her is all this displays signs of a future cheater. The lying, the deceitfulness, the untrustworthiness, I felt like I was betrayed. And the crazy thing is she would have just mentioned to me that she was going over it. I honestly would not have been the slightest bit mad, but since she thought I'd be mad and did it anyway, really had me furious and questioning, is this someone I want to be with? Well, you have grounds to be bothered by this. And don't tell me she was going to go hang out with her ex-husband at his house, that you wouldn't take issue. I know you'd be glad she told you, but still. I truly do believe nothing happened between them and she's ultimately over him, but again, I have no way to confirm what actually happened. I just have to take her word on it. Well, how many guys have just taken the word of their girlfriend or wives, right? And well, that word was complete and utter bullshit. So my question is this a deal breaker? Am I overreacting? Is this something that can be mended and fixed? Should I take this a huge red flag and just let her go? I was really close to letting her go over the situation. And I made it clear to her that we are not secure right now, and if she wants to continue, she's going to have to work really hard to win me back over. Define really hard. Sorry this email's too long. I know this one isn't one of the crazy stories, but I really want insight and advice on what you and the community thinks I should do in this situation. If this doesn't make it to video, I understand, but I would still like insight and advice back from you. Thanks, SSM. Keep doing what you're doing. Helping guys be great. Well, bro, honestly, hearing this story, I'd cut her loose. It's just too much bullshit going on here. Too many red flags. I think she's still hung up on her ex. I don't know why she's talking to him, let alone going over there, especially if he's the big bad guy, right? We all heard it. Controlling and other things, and it's his fault the relationship ended. Again, I know divorced people, the last thing they want to do is talk to their ex, let alone go hang out with them. If she and him had a child and she was going to go pick up the child or discuss with him about things about the kid, that's one thing, but really, no. And the fact that she knew you get pissed off, so she didn't tell you, that's more red flags. And then you mentioned that thing that happened at the 6-month mark that made you then postpone being official for a full year. That's probably it too. And if your gut is telling you that there's this much stuff and you're not trusting her, I cut it loose. Remember, this is what you do in the seriously dating stage when you're getting to know someone before you want to take the next step and become exclusive. And so if things don't seem to match up well, that's when you just stop seriously dating. So I'd cut her loose. Move on. And that's that. And I really do think she has a thing for her ex and probably leaving the door open for him. But again, I don't know how long it's been since they were officially divorced. But it sounds like you're the first guy she's been with since that happened, supposedly. And you're the rebound guy. So that's what I think. But at the end of the day, you got to do what you want to do. But this, again, backs up the point about paying attention to red flags, guys, and trusting your gut. And if your gut says it's not right and you're not feeling it, listen to it. You know, it's your superpower. And it's there to help you. And if you don't listen to your gut, a lot of guys have gone against what their gut has told them, and they deeply regretted it. She doesn't sound like girlfriend material to me. She needs to obviously let her be some other dude's problem. Obviously, you can get other chicks if you want to, so just let her go. Look at it as a learning experience. You had some fun with her. Look for the positive silver linings to the last 7 months with her, and move on. And if she throws a big giant tantrum, well, then I'll tell you everything you need to know. So guys, comment away. Let them know what you think about this. Be fair, be reasonable, and maybe we can help this guy out. All right, guys, that's it for today. Be sure to comment down below, just like I said. And be sure to like the video, share with your friends, and subscribe. I'll catch you next time.